Hey guys, what's going on? Today we are going to do this look right here, which is inspired by Gigi Hadid. I'll post the picture right here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I think this is a couple years old. I know I've definitely tried to recreate this in the past and just haven't been happy with it. George, one sec. Someone just wanted to say hello, I guess, right? Say hello. I've got to bark and make noises. Anyway, like I was saying, I've tried to recreate this in the past and haven't been happy with it, so I'm fairly certain this is a couple years old, but I think it's a really nice cranberry look, especially for hooded eyes. She obviously has hooded eyes, but we have a different kind of hooded eyes, so you'll see in the tutorial I kind of tailor it to my shape eye, which I think is super important when you have hooded eyes. No two hooded eyes are the same. They're all different, so it's kind of hard sometimes to recreate a look. So I just want to try to like help you through this tutorial in explaining you need to kind of, and you can tailor things to your shape eye if that makes sense. So she kind of brings the glitter a little higher up than I do because I just don't think that's as flattering on my eyes. So I kind of tailor it to my shape eyes, if that makes sense. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I got this look right here, please keep watching. I apologize, there's gonna be some banging in the background. They're working on the deck next door, so I can't do anything about it, but I do wanna get this video up, so I'm sorry if you hear pounding. It's the people outside. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. I've already primed my lid with the Tarte Shape Tape, and then I just set it with a face powder. I used the MAC Medium Plus Skin Finish or Pro Longwear Pressed Powder, that's what it is. So all of that is set, my brows are obviously on, my face makeup's done, so let's just get into the eyes, shall we? I'm using two palettes today. I'm using the Morphe 25B palette, and all I'm using is this color right here and this color. I'm sure there are plenty of dupes out there, but this is actually a really good Morphe palette. I use it all the time. And then I'm also using the Carli Bybel palette. There's two shades in here I'm using. One is this shade right here, and the other is this shade right here. I'm sure you could only use the Carli palette if you wanted to, but I just like those colors, and that's kind of what I went for with the Morphe palette. So the first thing we're gonna do, I'm also using a cream shadow today. This is from e.l.f. This is the color Why Not. It is just a cream shadow. I love these things. They're like a smudge pot, basically. So the first thing we're gonna do is work on our crease. Whenever I'm using some kind of shimmer, I really like to work the crease first. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my blending brushes. I really like to use the Morphe M507 for the inner corner blending, and then the Morphe M433 for the outer corner blending. These are like my go-tos. So I'm going to start with the bigger one, the M433, and I'm going to start by dipping into this shadow right here. These are pigmented, but they're not like subculture palette or like high-end palette pigmented, if you know what I mean. So I always dip into the color, and then I dip on to a paper towel to take off some of the shadows, and then I'm just gonna kind of start to work the shape of my outer corner. Gigi Hadid always kind of pulls her makeup out and up, and I think that's because it complements her really like almond shaped eyes. So I'm going to kind of tailor this look so it works on my hooded eyes, which she has hooded eyes as well, but you can do whatever works for your eyelid shape. So I'm gonna fast forward as I do this, but you guys will see what I'm doing. And for this one, it's okay to kind of get the color onto your lid a bit, so I'm not gonna be extremely careful like I sometimes am in my looks, because the whole lid is gonna be covered with that cream shadow, and it just kind of helps the blending in the end. So once I get to about this spot right here, I typically switch off to that smaller Morphe brush so I can get a little bit tighter. And I'm not going right down into where my like hooded crease is. I'm gonna kind of bring it up there. And then just kind of work that outer corner. Just pulling that shadow in a little bit. To help with the blending, we are gonna go in with a darker burgundy color, and then I'm just gonna start to blend the edges. Okay, so once that's blended to a point that you like, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the darker color right here in the Morphe 25B palette. Again, I'm taking that smaller Morphe brush. I'm gonna kind of toggle between the Morphe brush and a pencil brush to be a little more precise. So this is the MAC 219 pencil brush, and again, this is just the Morphe M507. Starting with that, dipping into the darker, more burgundy color, I'm going to just start to kind of work that outer corner and like lift like Gigi does. She kind of does like a wing, kind of like that, because it complements her eye shape. And then I'm just gonna start to kind of bring that in like I did over here. And then I'm just gonna go right back into that Morphe brush that I used to apply the lighter color and blend. Pull it in. And I find that like small circular motions pointed inwards works really well with this. And I just kind of like pull in all the way to the inner corner to lay down like a burgundy wash of color. I'm even gonna dip back into that lighter burgundy shade a little. Apply some color. Okay, and then I'm just switching to a Morphe M505, which looks like this, and I'm just gonna start to really, really blend the outer corners. This brush has nothing on it. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that for now, and then I'm gonna take the Carli Bybel palette and I'm going to go into this lighter burgundy shade, and that's just gonna go in on my inner corner. It's not like a super important step, but I did it with this eye, so I'm just gonna take that on a flat brush, and I just think that it kind of helps with like the transition of colors. But if you just apply a light wash of that lighter color that we've been using as the transition, that could work too. I just kind of like the transition here. So I'm just gonna stick that right on the inner corner here, bringing that all the way up to touch right there with that transition color. So if you only are using the Morphe palette, you could get away with not doing this, but if you have both palettes, I like this step. And then again, we're gonna go ahead and just blend with that fluffy brush that I just had in my hand and just blend everything together. So switching back to the pencil brush, I'm just gonna deepen that outer corner with that deeper burgundy shade, because I think after blending, I lost a little color. And then blend. And while we're at it, I'm gonna keep that pencil brush dipping into the lighter burgundy shade in the Morphe palette. I'm gonna just connect the lower lash line. So her under eye pretty much looks like it's just a little bit of the deeper burgundy shadow on the outer corner, and then that lighter shimmer color that I have, that I showed you in the beginning in the Carli Bybel palette. But I really like a matte transition color under the eyes, so I'm doing this, but feel free to just go ahead and replicate her look with just the lighter shimmer color if you'd like to. I just like how this looks, so I'm gonna do that. And then I'm going to take a flat shader brush. This is the Morphe G28. And I'm gonna dip in that darker burgundy color from the Morphe shade. And again, just do like 1, 2 on the outer corner. She keeps it pretty tight to her lash line, so you don't wanna smoke this out too much, but you do wanna make sure everything's blended. This is a MAC 226. And then I'm gonna go into that Carli Bybel palette and take this color right here. And I know it kind of seems weird because it looks a little like orangey, but I think it looks like very similar to what she did. I'm gonna just apply that from the inner corner all the way to the darker burgundy shade. So let's go ahead and take the cream shadow. Again, this is the e.l.f. Wine Not Cream Shadow. I'm gonna just take that on a concealer brush. This is an Eco Tools concealer brush. I'm gonna work it into the concealer brush, working a little bit of the product on the back of my hand. And we're gonna basically apply this to from the inner corner to about right here. Now, when you look at the picture, she has what looks to me like a little bit of like a chunkier glitter that goes all the way up to here. I don't like when my shadow goes up that high, shimmer shadow. So I'm pretty much keeping this on the lid, but you can definitely do that if you want to. Something like MAC, the loose pigments. I can't remember the shade, but there's like a reflex something that you can apply over this if you wanted to really replicate her look and have the shimmer go up. But I just like to kind of keep the shimmery shades more on my lid, which is why I applied the transition color first. Now again, I'm keeping this just to my natural crease where my eye kind of hoods over. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that for now and then take that blending brush that we were using with the transition color and start to kind of blend that. And again, like I was saying, she has the shimmer that goes all the way up. So if a little of this travels up, it's okay. But I try to keep it pretty much condensed to the actual lid area. And you wanna work kind of fast once you place this down because this stuff does set and it won't really move all day long, which is great, especially for an e.l.f. product that's super affordable. I think that thing's like $3. I'm gonna dip into the lighter burgundy transition shade and tap that on the outer third to blend. Just like that, and then once again, switching to just the blender brush that has no product. All right, I'm happy with that for now. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take the blush that I have on, which is this pink shade right here. This is from the Makeup Revolution Blush Palette in Goddess. And I'm just gonna tie that into my crease. So I'm going to just lightly take that color and just put that right in the crease where my transition shade is. So very, very lightly right there, just because this ties everything together nicely. You'll barely be able to see it, but I think that it just makes everything look cohesive. Just like that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just take a black shadow, any flat matte black shadow that you have. And I'm gonna just really tightly line my upper, like basically the waterline area. And I just like to do this with a shadow because it looks a lot softer. She looks like she might have like a gel liner, but I don't like working with those personally. I think that just a black shadow works best for me. So feel free to do whatever works best for you, but this is what works best for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take an angled liner brush. This is the Sonia Kashuk liner brush, and I'm just gonna tightly line my eyes. And instead of going down here on my outer corner, I'm gonna lift it up just slightly like that. And again, staying very tight to my waterline. Just like that, very, very soft. And I'm even gonna take that Morphe blending brush, the smaller one that I've been using, and I'm just gonna run it on top of that to soften it just a little more. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is take this Bronze Shimmer Strips eyeliner kohl thingy. This is in the color Warm Nude Eyes. It's just a really bronzy shade like this. And I'm just gonna put that in my lower waterline. So I'm gonna take the Mary Luminizer highlight and I'm just gonna apply this on the inner corner. This is also what I have on my cheekbones, down the nose, Cupid's bow, anywhere I highlighted. And she keeps hers a little tighter, so she keeps hers pretty much like right here, but I like to highlight like this, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm going to quickly apply a nice coat of mascara, curl the lashes, and I'll meet you right back here to show you how everything looks. All right, you guys, after a nice coat of mascara, this is what we have going on. Some pictures it looks like she might have like a really natural lash on, and then other pictures it looks like she doesn't have a lash on at all. I don't want to wear a lash today, and I think this pretty much looks like the picture that I was looking at. So here's what I came up with. I'll get a little bit closer so you guys can see what everything looks like. I think this looks pretty dang good for you know, inspired look. Again, tailoring it to my shape eye and my hooded eye, and these are all really affordable products. On my face, I have the LA Girl HD foundation, which is like $5, super affordable. I just have a little bit of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer to warm up the face a little bit. Again, you saw what blush I used from the Makeup Revolution palette. My highlight, I did use something that was a little more expensive, which is the Mary Luminizer, but you could definitely use something like the Carli Bybel highlights if you have that palette, since you're already gonna be using that. Some of you will, at least. What else? I have Lash Paradise on my lashes. For my eyebrows, I use the NYX Tame and Frame pomade. Now my eyebrows are a lot more strong than Gigi's, but she has model brows and they look awesome, and she can pull it off, I can't. My brows look a lot better when I did this, so that's what I went with. Concealer, I have the Tarte Shape Tape on, which, you know, high end, but it's what works for me. On my lips, I have the Too Faced Melted Latex in the color Hopeless Romantic. This matches her color really well. I was struggling when trying to replicate this look to try to find a color that worked. This works really well. There's also an affordable option of this by CoverGirl. They make pretty close dupes. I will link it down below. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I straightened my hair. I tried to make it a little bit more slick on top, but I think it just ended up looking greasy, so ignore that. But I wanted to kind of have my hair the same style as her. I don't have a shirt that looks like hers, unfortunately, so we're just going with the Abercrombie boyfriend tee. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you guys think of this below. I think this is really good, just in time for like Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the holidays, where it's nice to kind of bust out these kind of colors. This look would look wonderful with a darker lip, something like the Balmain Power lipstick. That would look awesome. Anything dark, cranberry wine color. So yeah, thanks for spending some time with me, guys, today. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, as always, below. Otherwise, subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos. Give this a thumbs up. It helps me a lot, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.